Alrighty. Hello, everyone. We are here. We are live. We are back. It is good to see you. It is good to hear from you. It is good to have you watching. This is, of course, Party Wipe Games. This is our Changed Stars game, the records of Miqto. And, well, I don't really have much to say, but it is good to be back. It is good to be playing again. Because tomorrow's a holiday and it won't be a game day for us tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. But the day before Thanksgiving is plenty of time to get some gaming in, which is what we plan to do. So hopefully you're ready and excited and really want to see some of this wonderful game. There's also the Kickstarter that you can still get in on if you want to be able to play this game for yourself. The link will no doubt show up in the chat and in the description and in all of the other wonderful places you can find it if you follow on the Twitter or the Discord. That being said, I'm going to... There it is. The pre-order is up. Oh yeah. So, I'm going to bring this over to our players once I finish getting out all the notifications. And we will say hello to everyone else. Okay, hello.
It started right this morning. Oh, hello.
Hello.
It started right this morning? What started right this morning?
Snow.
The snow.
Yeah, then it rained. So now everything's kind of puddly, icy.
Gotcha. We had some good rain yesterday.
It rained for the last 2 days here, and now it's sunny.
Yeah, the clouds broke almost immediately. It was kind of wild. We're supposed to get more of the snow on the tail end of winter down here, so that'll be fun. Well, anyways, hi, everyone. We are... Hello.
Hello.
We can get started. I'll go ahead and do intros. I am, of course, Rendis. I will be playing Dr. Rendis LaRusio. She is the team scientist and I guess de facto diplomat too somehow. It's fine. She hasn't caused any incidents.
Hey, I fly the ship. Dog shoots things.
It's true.
Do you want us to do the talking?
You want good words? Data languager. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'm the talky person this game, which is different for me, but it's fine. I don't mind it.
I mean, hey, if anybody else wants to join.
If anybody else wants to join, they are incredibly welcome to do so. Join the crew. Join the crew.
Join the crew. Join the crew.
Popcorn Doogler.
Hello, everybody. I am Dougler93. I do art and I play games. And today I am being Bayer Thule, the Thren pilot, like we mentioned earlier. And going over to Captain.
Muting my phone because I'm being bombarded.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Captain Carrion, also known as John. My brain is trying to take a walkabout. I will be playing, I had a similarly named character. I will be playing Douglas Crowley, aka Dog, our resident security specialist, Marine, and Jarhead, which I realize are basically all redundant.
They are, in fact, all the same.
Yep, that's about all he does.
And I'm Shay. I am the dungeon mistress, storyteller, the dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is the title of this game's host of Change Stars, and I'm running a some time. And last we left off... What do you all remember the last we left off?
Lots of cultural exchange.
Yeah.
Let's see, cultural exchange. The pirates invited us to talk. In 2 weeks, we have a meeting with the queen.
Byron got a new outfit.
We heard some things we shouldn't have.
Yep. You're visiting the... I'm hoping it's the Pirates space base and not the culty people's space base.
What's the difference?
Well, the culty one's gonna murder me. Yeah, it's probably fine.
Oh, you mean the Empire?
Yeah.
Maybe not right away.
Maybe not right away.
No, they would, no, the Empire would torture you first.
That does not make me feel better.
No, it
They-
shouldn't.
If anything, it's worse.
They're not gonna kill you right away. They'll torture you first. That is not a comforting statement, John.
They'll take you for questioning, interrogate you for hours.
You like, stop right there, rebel scum.
And then some farm kid will fly with a very cool spacecraft, shoot a missile up their tailpipe, and walk.
And kill several hundreds of thousands of contractors, janitors, and non-combatants. They knew what they were signing up for.
Yeah. On that note, we'll pick up here. Camera kind of zooms in. At your location currently, you have just agreed to speak with the pirates who have invited you over. And with that, both both Rishi, the Thren pirate, and Thomas, the human pirate who had been accompanying you, kind of have given you all kind of like a nod and affirmation that they'll send out their beacon to notify them where to pick them up. The natives here, while you have been able to put in some of their a generous portion of their language over the last over your current interactions with them over time, they don't understand your language. So as this is going on, the one you had spoken to, Cierlios, approaches again and asks, whenever you all are ready to leave, I can lead you to where our queen stays.
Absolutely. We would be happy to be escorted. Do either of you have anything else that you would need done within the foreseeable time frame?
No, I'm all good to go.
Dog shakes his head.
Well, if that is the case, I think we are in fact ready to go.
Alright, we have... And let's see... gave a name to the big old antlered creature, did you?
Don't think so.
I feel like we did, and I just don't remember what they are. I'm gonna call them sparklebacks.
Okay, that works.
We have some sparklebacks that will make the journey easier.
Well, we could take our ship and our shuttle and get there even faster.
She starts looking around for a boat. I do not see a boat.
Well, we just have to go to our landing site because it can actually sail in the air.
That sounds ridiculous.
Oh, you will be quite surprised, I am sure.
Okay,
Oh.
we can swim there.
Doug, you were saying something?
This was John saying something. As I recall, we'd ordered some extra people down from the ship. I can't remember what specialists we'd ordered, though. My dog doesn't have comments.
Are we? Thank you.
I don't remember that.
It was when Dog did his basically daily report.
Oh, okay.
I think medical personnel were.
Right.
So,
To help after the attack.
That's right, you did invite more. You invited Trinity to the village. Is that right?
Yes.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, to help with the injured.
Okay. With that in mind, looking around, or if you were to step outside, even though the rain has stopped, the area is still, for the most part, kind of flooded. Near the river, the water has stopped rising for the most part, but if you were to look at the sky during the evening or even twilight hours, you would see that there are two moons overhead that are pulling the tides pretty high right now. I think, like I mentioned last time, there's a good number of these natives that are swimming around and fishing, catching supplies, food.
Pushing Fire out of the water when she falls in.
Yeah. But looking out over the horizon, you would hear the sound of a boat speeding its way towards you. And I say hear it because this is not a primitive boat. This is some kind of craft that was designed to be able to manage this kind of terrain. And It is probably amphibious because you have them. But it's coming from the direction that the landing site that you all had originally set up were there for. Thomas kind of glances up and says, "I think that's one of yours."
Well, we should be certain before we go and greet them. Don't you agree?
He gives a nod. He lifts his rifle and stares through the scope. Yep, one of yours.
Alright.
Let's go say hi.
Mhm.
So it pulls up, and there is, before they even reach, there is the sounding of the alert from the tower that is still sticking out of the water at this point. That something is coming, and there are a number of the warriors who prepare, including Leo's, including Leo, the one lead warrior that Douglas got to hang out with. But they all seem to grab their weapons and just be ready. When they see that it is more individuals that appear like you, they relax a little bit. But you had mentioned to them that others were coming to assist. But as that happens, someone steps out, gives a salute, a name and their ranking, which I did not think to come up with quite so soon. So if anybody wants to give this character life.
We'll call him.
Private.
This would have to be someone above a private.
We'll call him.
Let's next up above a private.
We will call him Sergeant John McLean.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Alright, that'll work.
The old Die Hardman himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just talk like a bald white man. Although he kind of had hair in Die Hard, so. He was balding. Legally distinct John McLean. Don't die.
I'll try.
Remember,
Not
air goes through one tube, everything else goes through the other tube. Don't mix them up.
Also, just fixing your spelling on Sergeant, too. Yeah.
Yeah,
the rest of it is fine.
That old spelling of Sergeant, while it works in some situations,
Does not work
is
in-
no longer the one in use.
Yeah.
This is the legally distinct John McLean.
Oh, he's gonna have a real fun time with that last name.
McLean.
Especially because the names are going to go, ooh, more males. More
man.
big, buff, burly men.
You do get a lot of looks like And especially Rindis, who has kind of been the one developing the rapport, appears to be the more or less, at least to them, appears to be your leader. So from their perspective, she's been the one in charge.
I am queen now.
Yeah, they look at her, taking note of the number of males that she has.
I have so many males.
Okay,
I shall lend that one to you for the rest of the night. He is yours to do as you please.
Professor Rendis has concubines.
This is my harem.
But Sergeant McLean approaches and salutes and says, "I understand we were called for medical attention."
Correct. There was an attack on the local village that we were aiding. Any kind of medical expertise would be wonderful. Try not to spook them too much with the culture shock.
He gives a nod and starts ushering some people out of the boat. And as that's happening, Celios says, "Is that the one we are taking?"
Is it?
That's a simple overland craft. We were looking at taking the shuttle.
As you say that, and you say, "Take care not to spook the natives."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should probably not spook the native.
Thomas is just like,
Dog is at least smarter in that aspect than me. I was just going, aren't we planning on taking this shuttle? Whatever.
But yeah,
brain fried.
there is another sound that is definitely going to spook the natives as it gets a little bit louder. Now, did you inform the Trinity that you were accepting the pirate's invitation?
I believe. Wait, did any dog's the one with? Actually, no. Yes, we did, because somebody, I think it was Buyer, borrowed the long range radio off Dog's back.
Okay. Right. But there is the sound of another vessel approaching. This time from the sky, and this does spook the natives. But Rindis, as a small craft, comes shooting through the atmosphere, approaching the area. There are a few screams and worried looks as a lot of them retreat. Others, unsure of what's going on, preparing to defend themselves as a large metal bird comes down out of the sky. And it's not directly over the village, but it stops. But it begins to approach.
Well, let's see. They've learned about amphibious vehicles, boomsticks, and shuttles all in the same day.
They're growing up so fast.
Oh, dear.
Cirlio says something that doesn't quite translate, but Rendis, you get the sense that it goes along the line of "Holy shit, what the fuck is that?"
Dear God, what the fuck?
God, these people don't even have, like. Do these people have, like, have we seen any evidence of, like, flying lanterns or such? Even?
Not from this area. You only just began learning about what they were capable of.
Okay. All right, so it's
If
gonna
you
have to
were,
fall to someone smarter than Dog to explain it.
if you were so inclined, you could inquire about them.
But it's it's Dog going
If it gives you some idea, Sirlios does say, "How does it fly? It's made of metal."
I could explain to you, but we will be here for very long. Easier to show.
I think yeah, Dog passed high school physics.
Future high school physics, even.
Yeah, so he probably knows how something like that flies.
Fire knows exactly how it flies. She
Yeah,
loves
Fire
flying.
can explain that. Oh dear.
So, Fire actually does take a moment just to think, like, okay, what's the best way to explain this without getting to the technical aspect? Because that's going to take about 30 different steps just to get to something equalist. And
So,
can
yeah.
I roll a mechanics or communicate to see if Fire's able to give a understandable explanation of how it flies without it going to technical details?
You can give a communicate.
Communicate. Ah. Submit. 3 successes.
3 successes.
Okay. So for the locals that have remained out here and haven't been spooked, which there are really only the the warriors at this point. You begin to explain how you use combustion to propel a device and designed to utilize in the air, the same way a lot of creatures might use the curve of their wings to create a lower air pressure one way that allows it to remain airborne. But this vessel comes skidding to a halt, and it sounds a lot like mechanics, and some of them seem to pick up on that and start getting curious, very curious.
And so this village was the origination of gliders on the planet.
You're probably about to see some interesting developments here.
Reshape the world once they get aerial superiority over their enemies.
And at a comment like that, Dog would stop folding a paper airplane.
It's like, just hide this in the back pocket.
We're not going to teach them propulsion today.
Fire is going to keep it going on until someone just kind of stops them or just pulls them away.
We have made things that help slow falling.
Oh, that's actually the first step, because you always want to be safe when you do experiments. And if you actually change the design of the thing that's it helps slow you down, you can actually change it so you get momentum going forward as well. Then you can also add some like little turning devices on the back, so
They are gonna. Sorry, apparently John is having a hard time talking today.
One of the warriors one of the warriors kind of like taps you fire with her with the blunt end of her spear just to get your attention, and says, teach us how to make this.
okay, so we'd have to work on the building blocks first before we can get to something quite like that. And that is going to take quite a while to get to. But if you know the building blocks, you can make better those.
The vessel meanwhile kind of like has landed in the water and just kind of like coasts up, and when it's a vessel of a different design as well. It's got forward curved wings, and Douglas, you would notice that it is armed. But as the hatch opens, you see that there is the guy you were hanging out with.
Yeah, that
Mr. Rieger. But he steps out and says, "Ride's here." To which Rishi immediately jumps on board, and says, "Well, you coming along or what?"
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'll have some material put together for when I come back. We can start to talk about glider designs. Oh, do you have anything like a... I was gonna say manta ray, but I don't know if you call it the same thing. It's got like a big flat fish. Which that kind of moves the tips of the fins to go forward. I don't even know if Byron knows what manta ray is.
Roll me a... I don't know what a knowledge check would be for this.
Scrutiny? System?
That's... That's... I'm looking at this and I'm like... It probably falls under cognition.
Yeah.
I think it would be under medicine because that's knowledge of biology.
Yeah, probably.
Let's give it a go.
Roll.
Oh no, he's Byron having flashbacks to college.
Cram day.
That is a much tougher, oh dear. It was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Especially because now it's a rank 2 shock.
Developing the shocks.
If I could ever find it.
Yeah, they were not. I think a lot of it was left up to the GM to come up with.
No, this checks out. Let's see. It is. You trip and lose all movement. So as you're explaining this, you do indeed know what a manta ray is. But as you're explaining this, you trip and fall into the river again.
Oh
Yeah, she was excited.
It's doomed to be wet.
You just weren't watching where you were going.
Also, they're probably sitting backwards with their arms out, and just whoop.
Explain.
Just pulling myself back up. Okay. We will talk more about this when we get back. And I'll need to change my articles again.
And with that, you all board the vessel. Yes, no?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you do, there's a moment of hesitation, and Rieger pauses, uncertain as Leos looks like she's about to board as well, like nervously, but he looks back and says, "Are you taking this one?"
Wait. We should probably come back, and come back and get her. We will be back here very shortly. John is having. Hold on.
Yeah, she should not come. This would be too much.
We will come back. We will pick you up in our shuttle. Ours is a little more comfortable, I think, too, but also bigger. Oh dear.
Go ahead. Go ahead and give me a persuasion. Or a communicate, I guess.
Because we're all saying the same thing, does this count as assistance to whoever rolls it?
Yes.
I guess that'll be me then, since I'm the talkie. You said...
You are our queen.
Communicate. Hey, that's the thing, I don't have any points in. Oh wait, sorry, this is not my sheet. That's John McClane. I was like, I thought I was the talkie person. I can't talk. There we go. Communicate.
I haven't enough time to build a sheet.
That's fine. Did it not roll?
Has not rolled yet.
Not seeing anything.
have you input your modifiers for the assistance, which I think is
2, 1, 7.
2, I believe. I was reading it recently. I think it's 2.
Oh, okay. No, I think I hit cancel by accident because of the way this new layout is. Because the submit and cancel are right next to each other. Like there is no
And
space.
there's nothing
between
actually
them.
separating them at all. Like
Yeah.
not even a little circle box thingy.
Thought
Nope.
something looked different.
There we go.
Okay. So you start explaining this, and she kind of looks to you, Rendis, and says, "And we will get there on time by riding these."
Yes, we will.
Let's see. Dog knowing he knows his craft a little bit. Yes. These can make it from one side of the planet to the other in less than a day.
You mean she looked a little bewildered.
You'll see when it takes off.
She taps it and then stares up and says, "Is it a star?"
No, it nowhere near that scale. I don't know. Been a long time since physics.
It is something that you're going to want to experience to fully understand.
Yeah, it's
Words cannot describe. Which is why we are failing.
yeah, and it's closer to a flying chariot, flying wagon. That's very, very fast. Stars are stars. Much bigger. And don't carry people.
I have many questions.
Yeah. I am a warrior, not a teacher.
We will do our best to answer them on our way when we return.
They will wait for you. She steps back.
Well, we are burning daylight, as it were. We should get going, yes?
And,
Agreed.
and
Make sure, so when these are taking off or landing, the appropriate area to be clear, he mark out like how far you really want to be back from a shuttle that's taking off. And then, so yeah, because it basically it propels itself by shooting fire out its butt.
so it's alive.
No.
And it shits fire.
This is why I don't. This is why I'm not the one who should explain this.
No. Mr. The one pirate says, just says, "Worry about it later," and closes the hatch once you all are in and says, "Take a seat. I'll land us, or I'll take us off further away."
It's just dogs like, thank you.
Fire finds a seat.
There's not much room in here. This doesn't look like it was designed it has enough room to carry. You do have to get a little cozy with one another. But after the vessel starts to skirt along the water a little bit before it's further away from the village, and then takes off. And as it breaks the atmosphere, there is a moment where he says, "Well, you all get comfortable. We're heading to the next planet over." But you know it's going to take I don't know how long it would take. I don't know travel from one planet to another in this universe. But if they're moving at sublight speed, then it's at least going to be like half an hour or something.
That's a good amount of time. Sorry.
Wee planet.
Pretty pirate planet with a boat.
So, as you all start to get closer to the planet in question, they already told you about it. There is, you notice that on your way out, on your way there, you do see a planet that is mostly encased in ice and rock. Right around its equator is probably very frigid, albeit habitable zone.
So Canada moved then. Gotcha.
More or less. There is a moment where Ryder starts or says, "There's a box back there with some breathing masks that might help. Atmosphere isn't toxic or anything, but you might find it's a little thin. Breathable but thin. Just don't get lightheaded."
Okay, yeah. Pirates gonna grab themselves a mask and just hand one to their companions.
Okay. Dog accepts one. He's done that. He's been on planets with breathable but thin atmospheres before. He knows the kind of headache you get from that.
Yeah, Rindis isn't gonna risk it. She's gonna, of course, play safe and accept and don proper protocols.
And as you all are brought in to the planet, as you're flying in, you start to pick out various formations and canyons, and there is a strange sort of green kind of covering weird habitable areas. But as you get closer, you start to notice like large large trunk-like spouts that kind of crop up occasionally here and there. Doesn't look like any terran fauna or flora of any kind. But as you come into land, there is a fairly well-developed settlement at this point, but it still looks like it's in the process of being built. It looks like it was put together fairly quickly, and you can see a number of people working or trying to work very rapidly as you land in a nice. You settle down on the landing zone, and all around you see like all these buildings that look like they were put together quickly. There's various machines that are helping with the habitability here of the pirates that have settled here. There even appears to be a greenhouse of some sort. As you step out, it is quite cold. Very cold. It's like being in the mountains. Rieger steps out. He doesn't put the mask on immediately. It's not as though it's super toxic, but he does strap it on and then sets it so that he can get a little more oxygen more easily.
It's one of those where it's nice to just have the little supplemental oxygen when you need to.
It's more or less what it is. I would like everyone to give me a scrutiny.
Root. Tiny.
Realized we've rested and probably have knocked down the edge a little.
Gotta take the edge off.
Oh yeah. Get me?
Now that's
Taking the edge off. I'm just gonna do it. You can't stop me.
You're the one person she physically can stop, though.
Possibly. Maybe. But can you prove it?
Fair enough, I can't prove it, but I can assume she can't.
Okay. So, Meyer, you don't notice anything. Douglas, as you're walking, there's a lot of activity going on. It looks like this place is quickly trying to be fortified. One thing you do take note of is there are several people trying to get artillery guns up and running.
oh shit. Something nasty's going on. And then I imagine he trips and falls on his face.
I'm not gonna say that, but I will say that Rieger does notice you looking and says, "Precautionary measures for when your people arrive."
Well,
Right this way. And he starts leading you all down to a larger building off to the side, and he leads you inside, and it looks like this place. Once he's inside, he does take the mask off. The machines here are probably designed to promote a more comfortable atmosphere on the inside. But he leads you down a hall and says, our boss wanted the doc to take a look at a couple people and talk to someone. And they look to Fire and Douglas and said, if you two would like to stay with her, that's fine. Otherwise, we do have some trade if you are interested as well.
I'd prefer to stay with the doctor for the time being.
All right. I've got a lot of work to do. And looks to Thomas and says, Thomas, stay with them. And then looks to Rishi and says, and Rishi, you have to. And Rishi kind of puts their arms around you, Fire, and says, I guess this is goodbye for now.
Well, I'll just make the next meeting even better.
Alright, I guess I'll see you soon.
I do hope so.
And they kind of give you a peck on the cheek and then slip away. And one more look to Thomas, and Ryger says, medical base, and he gives a nod and says, take him there right now. And Thomas turns you down a hall, and it's not far. As you step inside, there are a few people there. It looks like there are 3 people in beds that are being treated, and there are 2 other individuals. One is a young woman with a long braid in her hair. She seems to have a tablet in hand, using it to monitor the various individuals. And there's another figure there, one who is also kind of young, but he's decked out in armor. And she says to him without even looking up, well, I honestly think you should tell Mom anyway. But they both pause and glance up when you all enter, and he kind of looks back and says, I guess we'll talk later. And starts slipping past you. Rindis, you have treated neither of those 2.
Nor shall I begin to. And I shoot.
Okay.
No. I can treat them if they're willing.
But the girl looks up and says, you must be Dr. Rindis.
I see my reputation precedes me.
I was looking over your notes. I have several questions.
Well, I will do my best to answer.
And so she approaches you, and she's going to more or less pick your brain, particularly in regards to the genetic alterations you you performed uh, to a number of the humans on board. Um, but as she's asking questions, go ahead and give me an insight, actually.
Okay. Okie day. Almost did it again. Submit. Success.
So she wants to know how to safely perform your the work you did, either to recreate it or to treat individuals when problems arise. But she says nothing terribly unexpected happened, but whenever doing genetic alterations, there's always some issues that crop up. Mr. Brady, one of the patients here, has started showing early stages of cancerous cells. Is there anything I should be concerned about when treating this?
Well, there is roughly a 2% chance of infertility, and occasionally there has been explosive diarrhea and internal combustion.
How much of that is true?
None of it.
All right, give me a communicate to see if she believes you.
Well, I am going to use my talent, Charmer, to give me a bonus on this because she is wearing
about this.
She is wearing the biggest shit-eating grin on her face while she says this. Boom, 3 successes.
All right.
I feel like the infertility part's probably true, but the rest of it.
2 lies and a truth. There's a small chance of infertility, which may be true.
I heard roll an insight. Just want to see if they believe it is you.
Sure. Because you know what? It would explain a lot of her own predilections if there is a chance of infertility. There is, in fact, a small chance of infertility. It's very small.
Fire turns to dog and mouths. Internal combustion?
Oh, that part's not real.
Well, your communication still be fire, so at least something about it's not real, but can determine one.
Ah, dang, she matched. Look at her go.
Yeah, she picks up on your shit-eating grin and says, "Well, I'm gonna have fun with this."
Which part? The explosive diarrhea or the combustion?
Well, the combustion's gonna be my favorite. You do see her put those notes in, but she puts a little star next to them.
Like, do humans normally combust?
Well, let's see. High school biology. So, I suppose that breaking down things like sugars and other hydrocarbons that we do in our diet is sort of like combustion, I think. I don't know. It's been a long time since I went to school.
Or makes you
I'm
explode?
just a jarhead. I have a PhD.
Why are you asking me science questions? Think DACA pew pew.
The doctors talk about doctor stuff. I don't want to drop that.
Anyhow, so it's not like that's just. Actually, come to think of it, I think all carbon-based life forms technically make things combust internally, but I'm pretty sure that internal combustion is more of a type of engine.
That's...
He's just taking the explosive diarrhea at face value at this point.
he's like, I've eaten MREs. I know what that's like.
Yeah, MREs cause the opposite problem. You never shit again.
Yeah.
And that's why he has that facial expression. I-
I'm willing to bet that the infertility is going to scare him more than the internal combustion.
Yeah.
I'll just
That being said, and she shows you the list of notes that she had on your treatment. Do you have anything else you can provide for my treatment of these people here?
No, they should not engage in any physical activities of any kind. And she kind of like leans in, any kind, for at least a week. They should light duty, leave their heart rates very low, etc.
At least a week. All right. Well, thank you, Doctor.
Yes, of course.
And she glances over and says, "Oh, Thomas, you can take him to see Mom now." And he gives a nod, and she goes back to treating the people on the tables there, or the people resting. It looks like two of them are recovering from physical injuries. The other is probably the one in question was being treated for the pre-cancer cells that is quickly being dealt with before it becomes a problem. But nothing. And it's not something too unexpected when you're doing genetic alterations to people. There's always the chance for something to crop up, like it may happen when such alterations are made on a large scale. But in this case, they're treating people individually. Thomas looks over and says, well, I can lead you to the boss now. She'll want to thank you.
Yes, let's go see some.
And you are led out of the medical bay and down a hall a little bit. Further inside, there is a large open room where, with a number of people around or off to the sides on some tables. In the center, there's just a diagram of the system, and sitting in a larger chair is that very large woman that you had met. The one going by Tanya Gunhilder.
Tanya Gunhilder.
But there's a moment of discussion that she's saying between. She kind of glances up and takes note of your presence along with a few of the others. But she begins answering a question that had probably been asked, saying, just make sure it gets done as quickly as possible. And one of the others there say, we don't know what they're. We have no idea what they're planning over there, and you should handle them now before. She holds up a hand and says, "Not in front of our guests. You all are dismissed." And a number of them get up and start leaving. But she looks to the rest of you and says, "Please take whichever seat you fancy."
If I were playing an asshole, I would take her seat.
You can.
No.
She passed her lap.
I didn't say her lap. I said I'm taking her seat. I am lifting it up and I am shoving her onto the floor.
I don't think that you physically can.
No, she cannot.
No. This is gonna... No, that's
Yeah, she would get destroyed.
Also, this is a large person on a fairly hefty chair. Dr. Rintus LaRuccio is not especially large.
She says, "Would you like to get destroyed?" and wiggles her eyebrows.
Oh, dear.
I will be back in 3 days.
Okay. Dog is... Whatever chair is convenient is whatever chair he takes.
Same.
Yeah, same with Bayer.
There's only a couple of people who remain, but they just take up posts by some of the doors. She says, "I take it you spoke with my doctor."
Sorry, one more time.
"I take it you spoke with my doctor already."
Yes, I updated her on my notes. And answered some questions.
Any unforeseen problems in my men?
No. There is a small chance of side effect, but it is less than 5%.
Well, glad I am to hear it. So, you've done me a favor, and I've done you a favor by not destroying your ship. So, I would like to ask, of course, for trade. I don't expect anything for free. Some information, I guess. What do you plan on doing with the locals here? The natives?
We are on an exploratory mission, so I plan to explore Antori. She looks completely serious with that. We will be getting to know the locals and seeing if there is a relationship that can be formed with them.
I'd be happy if you could pass along any notes on that subject. Is that a doable thing?
She's gonna look to the other two like, are we making deals with pirates now?
I think that's something you'd have to go through our captain for. I do believe you already have communication lines for that. That is above the level of authority that we have between us.
Well, I do understand that you've gone a little shorter on supplies lately. She just kind of gives a knowing smile. could return some of it for you if you'd like. Just bring that message to your captain then. Along with an invitation to meet me.
We certainly will.
Is there anything else you might be interested in while you're here?
Should look to the other two first.
Share in hospitality or seek out some of my people to trade?
There should be. Hold on, get the John brain cells to work. There should be things the dog would want to know.
I would be interested to see what people have to trade. And it could give us a better idea for future trading as well.
There's someone with a bright. Alright. You'll want to see... Now let's give this person. I think... You'll want to go see Miss Mosey. And she gives you directions. Says, Thomas can take you there.
Very well.
And she stands up, along with Thomas, and then says, I do hope you all enjoy your stay here. And Thomas leads you out as she turns to the two people who stayed behind. And as you are led back, Thomas leads you to a larger room where it seems to be a more common area. Here, there are a much more condensed number of people who are moving about. You see, it looks like trying to think of the right word for it. It's like an atrium-sized room, but there are some tables off to various sides on platforms. There are some stands to one side where a lot of people are congregating. But as you're walking through, there's a moment where Thomas has to like sidestep a number of children who come running through, playing oblivious to getting into other people's ways. But it's a very lively area. He approaches a table off to a side where there is a staring at something on paper very closely. Shakes her head and crumples it up, and then pulls out her data pad and starts entering some things. She says, "No, that won't do at all." Doesn't acknowledge you all when you approach. Mosey. I'm busy right now. I have to figure these numbers out. And she reaches up and kind of like scratches behind her head. She says, "Mosey, we got guests." She pauses and looks up and then looks back and then looks up again and says, "I don't recognize these ones."
Well, we're visitors, so met before.
Visitors, huh? Sure. What can I do you for?
Well, we're interested in seeing what you've had.
I've got all sorts of things. I've got various vessels, weapons, armor, drugs, you name it. What you looking for?
Fire does look over to Dog and just like, do you need more armor?
You need drugs?
Looks
We probably
over.
don't need drugs.
No. We are technically on protracted duty in our station, so no drugs. It's the regs.
You see her kind of like sniffing the air and says, "Oh, Trinity. Well, I've got some stuff that you can't get in Trinity space. You know, on the account of it not being legal."
He just said we could not have fun, so no.
Technically speaking, when we're on the it's just Dog's doing. He's doing the math in his head because he knows that some of the things that aren't available in Trinity space are probably kinds of fun ammunition. But he's like, no, I can't do it. Nope.
Well, we can always just see what they have.
No drill
Ammunition
bomb
device.
ammunition.
No illegal shit, unfortunately, for us. However, as you are outside of the authority of Trinity, and I am in by no means any form of law enforcement, that is not actually my concern, other than that myself and the people on the crew with which I serve are not those pertaining.
Oh well, what about you two then?
I don't have any use for anything, so Rindis is going to decline.
I may have, in some circumstances we've encountered. John is going to have to come up with a wish list going through like various gear pages. I can't talk. Various gear pages and figuring things out, but probably between sessions. So assume that Dog inquires about some things such as explosives, notably grenades. Because I've had a couple of occasions where it's like, wow, we have a bunch of very tightly massed enemies away from friendlies. By which we've had one, but I'm still like, man, just drop a grenade right on top of them. That'd be such an easy way of handling it.
They do have a number of weapons available to you. You are informed. Now, I can't exactly hand these over to you, but they can be delivered to you at your time of leave.
Okay.
Seeing as your guests, of course. But yes, we got all sorts of grenades. We got incendiaries, shrapnel. We've got experimental cryo grenades.
She's just sitting there going like, okay, that might be useful. There's also,
Concussion bomb.
just,
Sticky acid grenades. They stick to you and they melt. can explode and melt more. Oh, but you said no illegal ones. Let me take those ones off the table.
Yeah, I do. Those fuckers were useful anti-armor charges, but yeah, using them on personnel's a no-no. And last I checked, we're not going to have to worry about any sort of armored personnel carrier like tanks or anything like that.
Until we find out they've weaponized crabs.
Okay, if we find out they've weaponized crabs, then that's the kind of thing we might need.
Do you by chance have any CCU modifications?
Yeah, we might actually. What you looking for? Something to increase resistance to environmental hazards. We got various hook guns. We've got different tools you can have attached to the arms. Got some new leg redesigns.
Did the blade redesigns?
Yeah, like oh, here. And she opens something on the data pad she has and spins it around and shows it to you. And it looks like there are a number of CCU legs that can replace ones on current on various models. They have to be the right model and all. But assuming you can attach these legs, they can do different things like giving the machine some actual jump capability, or something that is designed to move a little faster than what the standard CCU is. There's some that have spiked boots or hazardous terrain. Is there anything in particular you were interested in seeing?
Do you like the idea of the increased mobility?
Oh, sorry. I was skimming through some of stuff Lee and I talked about. Do they have any CCU scale weaponry as well? Because that might come in handy.
Yeah. There's some military grade attachments you can put on CCU on.
Okay, that'll be something to think about with more time.
The hook gun could also be quite handy as well for mobility too. But increasing the base speed of it would be... Shay, do they have like a price for each of these mods? Or is it more of a barter system?
Let's see.
Oh. Now the dog's going to have to end up coming back later because I think he brought his money with him.
Okay. So I would say like an attachment that might increase the CCU speed might be somewhere around 3 to 5,000, whereas something like an assault chassis that can be implemented might be closer to like 100,000 is probably out of range.
Yeah, because my fund is
weapons-
300.
Yeah, weapon attachments would be the same as whatever weapon you wanted to get attached to it.
Yeah, so with Fire's current funds, everything appears to be out of their range. Plus, we've been getting paid, and Fire hasn't known.
Well, if you have anything else you wanna offer, again, certainly willing to do a barter.
Right now, our party doesn't have much barter with them. I think it may be the kind of thing where we are like, okay, so we know they have these things that we want. We'll need to come back with stuff later.
Well, that's all right too. Here's my card.
Fire is going to take that because, sadly, electrical analyzer not enough for a new modification.
Let's see here. On that note, I do need to figure out. I need to figure out where these items are going. It's not adding up. Someone skimped. She starts looking through her data pad again.
Someone skimming items?
Yeah, there's a couple things that have gone missing. It's not going to end well for them when you figure out who the boss doesn't like people going behind everyone else's backs.
Fire looks to their companions like, shit, and just kind of motions like, should we offer to help out?
I am not convinced yet. Helping or getting too involved. It seems they are trying to elicit our favor for some reason. I mean, they are pirates, so the reason may not be a good one.
That's potentially true.
Henry says, that's not wrong, but depending on what it is, you might gain a little more favor towards Mosey there. She might be more inclined to offer you something. Don't have to, of course.
Could get us some interesting toys that we got out of requisition from our ship.
It would be fun to bring something back, but I would hate to get in trouble for it as well. Find something shiny for the captain. Maybe that will help smooth her disposition over if we do. A bubble, perhaps. Not quite a bribe.
Let's see. So I have dog's doing so if we could find something that we're allowed to, that would be appropriate given our directives to trade with the locals or back on I can't remember what I brain but and then trade for something that could be considered some kind of luxury good, and then trade those luxury goods here. Then I don't think there'll be anyone objecting. But we also have other concerns, right? Hmm.
I mean, it couldn't hurt just to hear the details. Then we can decide from there.
Yeah, get us put our put our information together, put our proposals together, and boy,
Well, it's up to you all. I can take you back anytime you want.
he Dog probably is more coherent than I am right now. I'm still. Ugh.
Do you want to talk about a buff game so we can then go through the character afterwards?
Yeah,
I'm just always bad with shopping days. I don't know what to buy.
I'll have to go through books and details and come up with a wish list, and that'll take a long time.
And the stuff Bar wants is just outside the price range, but Alphatham could get us something at the very least.
Yeah. Dog has some knowledge with barracks room trading, and it's all about following the appropriate procedures to not get in trouble. So, alright, so we're gonna trade the cigarettes, this cigarettes for that guy's chocolate, trade the chocolate we got over to that guy for his, for his ration of that, whatever the ultimate goal to get, alright. So the ultimate goal is to get the soft toilet paper. So who has the soft toilet paper? Okay, so we need to come up with what the person with the soft toilet paper wants. Okay, what they want is Pontiff's red. Okay, so let's see.
Let me put it this way: if you all were looking for like an attachment to your CCU, or maybe some weapons or something like that, then she might be willing to give you something if you all wanted to find whoever's been skimping. Don't know that I'd recommend hanging around. Punishment can be brutal.
Well, we needed to get back anyways. Sounds like a plan.
All right. And so he starts leading you all back to back to where the shuttle was, or a vessel was, and he will start flying you back. I feel like here, as you all get in, the ship takes off, breaks atmosphere. The camera follows it out for a little bit, and then lowers again until we see some of those large conical, not quite plants. They look like really, really big lichen of some kind. Just little tubes sticking up in the very frigid air. And we see a figure step out, we see a shadowy figure step out, and then another form kind of straightens, says, "You're late." And the figure says, "It's hard staying unnoticed under all your outlaws." And they say, "As long as you brought the money, I've got it here." And the shadowed figure extends a case. They take it and pop it open to make sure it's there, close it, and as they turn back, they toss a small item over, and the shadowed figure catches it and tucks it away and says, "We never met." And the guy says, "Of course not." And they start to separate. I feel like I'd like to call it here now, if that's okay with everyone.
I was about to ask if we could.
Sure.
Yeah. It just seemed like a good place.
Oh yeah.
We can ask. Go lie down.
Alrighty, well, thank you everybody for watching. Those of you within the United States, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Those of you further north, you already had your Thanksgiving, so no turkey for you. No.
You can have
But-
turkey if you want.
Yeah, fuck you. I'll make a ham tomorrow.
Yeah, make a ham. Well, ham is good at any time too, so it's fine. But this has been Party Word Games. This has been a Change Stars Adventures. The Records of Miqto. Thank you for running, Shay.
Welcome.
Fun
And
game.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.